everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sports Corner. Rich Estrella along with John Conte. Happy you joined us tonight. We are live. It is Thursday night. We had to move to Thursdays because we're going to start having football live on Fridays. So it's going to be an interesting time here, LA 36. And, of course, some of you guys are watching us along our social media on Facebook or, YouTube or whatever. We're on so many things. I don't even know, John. I can't keep up with all this stuff.
I can't follow it. There's so many different devices where to watch shows. We're just happy that you're here. Thanks for joining us on the Sports Corner. So many things to talk about today. And, Rich, I know we're going to kick it off with your favorite quarterback, right?
Well, I can't believe that, Super Bowl's been over for a month now, and everybody's still bitching about Tom Brady. And I've never seen anybody whine as long as this. And, John, we know it's all politically motivated, and that's why they're whining about the dude. I don't personally like Tom Brady, the way he got all his championships. We used to rail against him and Belichick all the time. It was basically Belichick who was doing all the cheating. They got caught filming people's practices. Forget Deflategate. That's kind of a weak one. I think everybody deflates balls or inflates them depending upon how big your hand is, how comfortable you are with it. But I've never seen anybody come and attack a guy who's done so much. He's been to 10 Super Bowls, John. He's won 7. Nobody has his credentials. Not even Michael Jordan has his credentials. Joe Montana came out today and said that there's unquestionable that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback he's ever seen. And Joe Montana has some pretty good credentials to make that kind of judgment.
Listen, I'm so glad that happened. Look, when they were tied, they each had 4 rings. Everybody was comparing them. Look, I'm a Joe Montana guy. I'm a 49er fan. But, Tom Brady going out and putting on all those rings, that really just says that he is the greatest of all time. He's Mr. Consistent. He knows how to get a team to rally around him. And let's face it, he didn't always have the greatest talent in New England. And then he goes to Tampa Bay, a franchise that he's not familiar with, and he brings them to the promised land. So Tom Brady is definitely something special. He deserves to have all those Super Bowl rings. And, it's kind of funny how everybody's hating on him right now. You either love him or you hate him.
Well, it's not everybody. It's just if you're on the other side of it. Everybody knows he was a guy that it's just because he had a magnet hat in his locker in 2016. Everybody lost their brains. The establishment can't have that.
It's a reason to dislike him, Rich, is what it is. Look,
stupid.
People are going to find reasons to like people. People are also going to find reasons to dislike people. With Tom Brady, there's got to be a ton of jealousy there.
The problem is, outlets like ESPN have just gone off the deep end. When idiots like Max Kellerman say, Brady's already fallen off a cliff. He said that 5 years ago. And here the dude's won 3 Super Bowls since. How in the hell did the guy fall off a cliff?
Let's not forget, about a year ago today is when things started to shake down, when Tom Brady was the free agent quarterback that we were all talking about. Nobody knew where he was going to end up. Mm-hmm. He ends up in Tampa Bay of all places, and he wins a Super Bowl. So, we have quite a quarterback carousel going on right now. It really does go to show you how important this position is and how much it impacts
John,
everybody.
It's not like he's Kevin Durant and ran to the best team in the league. Tom Brady didn't do that. He went to a team that has the worst one-loss record, winning percentage of any professional sports franchise of all time. The worst. That's where he went. They were 7-9 the previous year or thereabouts, and he takes them to a Super Bowl. And, John, that team was not ready made for a Super Bowl champion.
Well, the year before, they had Jameis Winston under the helm, and of course, it's addition by subtraction. Jameis Winston throws way too many interceptions. So you bring a guy like Tom Brady into this mix, he's Mr. Stability. He had a lot of weapons around him, and look, Bruce Arians is a really good head coach. So he let Tom be Tom. That's what everybody was saying all year. They let Tom be Tom. Tom was much more comfortable there than he was in New England, according to some inside sources. So at the end of the day, this was a really good marriage. But let's not forget how good the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense played from week 7 on. That defense was on fire. And, they're a huge reason why they won that Super Bowl. They were knocking Patrick Mahomes all over the place.
I guarantee you, John, and all you haters out there better listen. If Tom Brady did not go to Tampa, Tampa would have not won the Super Bowl this year. They wouldn't even got in. They would have never beaten Green Bay.
I agree 100%. And there's a lot of teams out there that are probably kicking themselves right now. One that comes to mind is the San Francisco 49ers. They actually called and inquired about Tom Brady. And, they weren't serious about pulling in any sort of trigger. And, this goes back a few seasons they had inquired about Tom Brady. Can you imagine if the San Francisco 49ers had a guy like Tom Brady? It could have been them in the Super Bowl or any other team that picked him up. That goes to show you how dynamic of a player he is.
Well, although the players have talked about it, doesn't matter if you've been on the team for a few years or if you're one of these guys he brought in. Let's face it, he has that kind of star power that got Leonard Fournette to go there for playing for the league minimum. I think he only got $1 million this season, John, although that's a pretty damn good salary. And he also got Antonio Brown. Nobody could seem to work with Antonio Brown. Everywhere that guy went, he wore out his welcome. And when he was in New England, he wore out that welcome so quick, John. He took on Robert Kraft and really slammed the dude personally. Had nothing to do with his ability as an owner. It's his actions. With that massage parlor thing, John.
Well, don't forget, Antonio Brown actually lived with Tom Brady. He came out, he roomed up with Tom Brady.
He certainly did.
Tom Brady really wanted to show him the way and set him straight. And look, I didn't hear any problems with Antonio Brown this season. I think at this point in his career and everybody else's career, when you join Tom Brady, there's a really good chance you're going to put on a Super Bowl ring. So everything changes. You're going to go put on the hardware. You're going to be more of a team player. That's what Tom Brady does. He brings people together as a team.
Well, look at this, John. Tom Brady comes in. First thing he does is Gronk comes out of retirement. One of the best tight ends. Gronk took a year off. His elbow got healthy. He came in. He caught 2 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. Then you got Leonard Fournette, a guy nobody wanted. Was he with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
He was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and look, he was expecting to start. He was expected to be their starter. They cut bait with him.
They did.
He could be a starting running back on any team in the NFL. He was sharing time behind Antonio or whoever he was behind there. I forget who their first running back is already. But at the end of the day, you've got this guy that's a great quarterback, and he played when he played. And he ended up getting a ring at the end of it.
So he brings in Leonard Fournette, talks Fournette into
Ronald
coming
Jones,
in.
I think, is our guy.
Well, Ronald Jones is who he's playing with now.
I think so. I don't even know.
But it doesn't matter. But anyways, after Fournette, he also talked Antonio Brown into coming in and behaving.
Correct.
All you got to do is behave, dude. They don't want you to do anything else but behave and catch a few passes. So let's look at it for what it is. Gronk caught 2 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. Antonio Brown caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. And Leonard Fournette scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So all the misfits, the guys that were out there floating around, came in under Tom Brady. Tom Brady just got him in line, and look what they did in the Super Bowl, John. They got 4 touchdowns between them.
Not to mention, but really that was Tom Brady's way of rewarding those guys because he was looking for Antonio Brown. He wanted Leonard Fournette to score. He was looking for his guy Gronk.
You know why, though? He wanted Mayhew to pay. Mayhew was talking all that crap, right?
Oh yeah, that was great. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady wanted his guys to score. He wanted them to feel a piece of that Super Bowl. And, he only got to play with Antonio Brown for 1 week. Well, we got to see what happens when they can play together for an extended period of time. So I don't really care how old you are at this point. If you have an offensive line that's going to keep Tom Brady upright, he's going to keep slinging that thing.
And he should. People are still going to hate. Now, his wife wanted him to retire after the season, John, but he's not having it.
No, why should he?
He's not going to have it.
Why should he? He's in fantastic health. Again, if you have a good offensive line and you can stay upright, he's going to be okay. Now, from his wife's perspective, she makes more money than he does, so they don't have to worry about money. She probably just wants Tom to be home and not get injured, but he's way too much of a competitor. I mean, this guy could go for another 3 or 4 years in the right situation.
He's pulling down probably $100 million a year between salary and endorsements. He doesn't, and his wife does pretty well too.
She makes triple what he makes.
He doesn't have to work anymore. But you know what?
He's a competitor.
It's not what it's about, John. It's like people that enjoy their careers, they don't ever want it to end. And some people are lucky enough, like Tom Brady right now, he's his 23rd year, something like that, going on it, 22nd year in the NFL. I mean, if he could still play and sling it and it's not messing him up because you can't hit the quarterbacks anymore now. If this was 1965, he'd have been out of the league already.
If this guy was taking shots like Terry Bradshaw took
Roman
as an
Gabriel,
example.
Johnny Unitas, you name them.
These guys wouldn't even be in the game anymore. But the quarterbacks are protected if you breathe on them, especially Tom Brady.
Yep,
Tom Brady has a different set of rules around him. They know he's the face of the NFL. They know what he's worth. And so they want to make sure they keep Tom Brady upright. And trust me, the referees are watching that too.
So it's going to be interesting now because we see the quarterback carousel that's going on. And again, I think it's all because Patrick Mahomes got that big, fat contract. And a lot of these guys were already locked in, even though they were superstars like Russell Wilson and so forth and so on. These are guys that are looking for better deals elsewhere. And it's probably because they know they could get it.
I don't even think it's so much about the money for these guys.
I do.
Look, when they get later in their career, they want an organization that is going to cater to their needs. We've talked about Russell Wilson before. He needs an offensive line around him. That guy is always running like a madman. Granted, he's probably a better quarterback when he's scrambling around, but they've never invested the money to get him an offensive line. So at this point in his career, he's got one more contract. He wants to pick his destination, and that's what this is all about for these guys.
I don't think Russell Wilson is a Ty Detmer type. You know, Ty Detmer was what, 6 feet tall, maybe 5'11". Russell Wilson's probably 5'10", 5'9". I mean, he's not that tall. He's not going to be a prototypical drop back passer like Peyton Manning or anybody like that. He is who he is, and he's definitely great on the run. And especially when he gets out there. Remember, he's a baseball player. Probably could have played pro baseball. Matter of fact, who was he playing with? The White Sox?
Texas Rangers.
In the offseason? Yeah, he was messing around out there having a good time. Great infielder. He could do it, you know. But I think right now, John, he's best suited where he's at as a rollout guy, opens up the offense all the way down the field and buying a lot of time. Instead of having 3 seconds to throw the ball, and I mean you got to get it going forward within 3 seconds or you're going to get sacked. He buys 5, 6, 7 seconds, John.
And I think it's actually 2.2 seconds is what those quarterbacks actually have before they get hit to get that ball off. That's why when you have an athletic quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson, especially these two sport
John, what's
athletes.
the difference between 3 seconds and 2.2 seconds?
Eight tenths of a second, but you got to
Just
get
a snap of a finger,
You
brother.
have to get that ball off so fast. But a guy like Russell Wilson, like you said, Rich, yes, he can buy himself a few extra seconds. The one thing that I saw is that the New Orleans Saints were making some inquiries about Russell Wilson, and you know, that's kind of an interesting one to me because the Saints have always been a drop back team with Drew Brees. What would Russell Wilson do to the Saints offense?
Well, it'd be interesting what he would do in that offense because you got Kamara, you got some great wide receivers in that offense. It would open things up, I think, John. I think no matter where Wilson would go, it'd open it up. But the coach, the offensive coordinator, has to understand the scheme. How do you best utilize this guy? Do you have the pieces on the offensive line? Do you have the pieces on the wideouts, the running backs, to play that kind of offense? You know, you know what? If you put him in Kansas City's backfield,
You'd get the same result.
I think it'd be better than Patrick Mahomes because Wilson has all that much more experience, and we've seen what he can do. Mahomes, you know, this was the first time I saw that guy look ordinary, was in the Super Bowl. And, John, I'm not sure if he went to any other lesser of a team that he would be able to produce the way he does with Kansas City.
Well, look,
Kansas City put all the weapons around him, and he's been utilizing them, but I think a lot of quarterbacks could utilize those weapons.
He came into a fantastic situation in Kansas City. Let's not forget he got to sit behind Alex Smith, who is a really good mentor. Maybe not the greatest quarterback in the NFL, but a really good mentor.
He's a great college quarterback.
Great college quarterback.
Absolutely.
And you know what? He's a really friendly guy. He's a mentor. He took Patrick Mahomes under his wing. You have Andy Reid. We all know what a great coach Andy Reid is. But the one element that we need to talk about is the speed of the Kansas City Chiefs offense. It is like a track meet. So you give Patrick Mahomes 2.2 seconds, he's going to wing the ball down the field. He's going to open it up. So you could put a lot of quarterbacks in that offense and get similar results because of the speed they have on the outside.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, I don't know why Pete Carroll doesn't go after some offensive linemen. You know, he's pretty much the GM with that team. I don't understand why they just don't open the pocketbooks a little bit and spend some money and get themselves some good offensive linemen. It's not like Paul Allen has been broke. I know he's passed away recently and all that, but he's had that team for quite a while. He was happy when Russell Wilson came in. He was great to the team when they won those Super Bowls, but I don't understand why they don't purchase some good offensive linemen, John.
Yeah, and especially now because they're on the verge of losing the face of their franchise because he wants offensive linemen around him. The Seattle Seahawks are notorious for drafting wide receivers and a lot of offense, but then they end up paying those wide receivers big contracts, and then they can't fill the rest of the team. When they have to pay DK Metcalf, they're going to lose half their roster. So that's a situation that the Seattle Seahawks get in. We saw with the Legion of Boom, all those contracts came due at the same time, and you can't keep them all. So the window for the Seahawks is going to be good as long as Russell Wilson is there. And if he leaves, Seattle will be at the bottom of that division.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, what do you take about Derek Carr of the Raiders getting a $10 million contract? Or, that's what they're offering him, I guess. $10 million a season. Doesn't seem like it seems like they like him a little bit. They like him a little bit. Like, I don't think they're committed to him as much as they would be if they could get Russell Wilson, because that's one of the 4 destinations that Wilson said he would listen to a contract because he's in control of where he goes.
Well, let me tell you right now, there's some backup quarterbacks out there making about $9 million. Those are really good backup quarterbacks. So basically, Derek Carr is a $10 million backup quarterback. If they find somebody better, they're going to replace him. And look, a $10 million salary for a guy that, could be your starter, could be your backup, that's a really good bargain for the Raiders, Rich.
When you said $10 million quarterback, you remind me of Armando's dates, all right? So he's always putting a price on those things.
That's right.
But, $10 million is nothing for a quarterback, like you said. The
It's
backup
nothing.
guys are getting 9. So that tells, and you had the GM on there today saying, oh, yeah, we love the guy. He's our guy. $10 million doesn't tell you that you have a lot of love for your QB. I think he'll be moved if they can get equal or better quarterback, because let's face it, I think that's what they really do need. They need to get a top-notch quarterback. Dude, you're in Vegas. You're in the entertainment capital of the world now. You must be flashy. You got to go out and get yourself a flashy, good quarterback, But right now, Carr's just adequate.
Right. You said it. He's absolutely adequate. So $10 million certainly sounds like a lot of money, but
They need to get Tom Brady, bro. He's going to be available after next year.
I think Tom's going to stay in Florida because he's already getting Social Security checks down there. He's probably living really well. So
Easy
at
now.
the end of the day, I think Tom stays put, continues to build upon what he did in Tampa Bay. And as far as Derek Carr goes, he's a really good option. Like, I wish the 49ers were paying Jimmy Garoppolo $10 million a season. Then it changes everything. He's a $25 million quarterback per season. And I don't know how much different a guy like Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo really are. So at the end of the day, the Raiders are getting a bargain at a $10 million quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, it's going to be interesting to see how the carousel goes. Things are going to heat up. Right now, they don't have to do anything. Nobody has to do anything. The only thing we know for sure is everybody hates Tom Brady, and he ain't going nowhere. And he's going to be back, Aaron Rodgers has been squawking, too. All these quarterbacks want to call their shots now. I think that's a dangerous thing. I really do. This is not the NBA where you get your bro and you team up and win a title. I just don't know if it'll work for anybody else besides Brady. He's such a smart quarterback, pretty much a coach on the field. That's what even Arians said.
That's right. And don't forget, Arians let Tom Brady be Tom Brady. That was something that was well documented all year
Took a
long.
while.
You know what?
6 games.
Took a while, but he realized that. He said, hey, I've got Tom Brady here. I need to let him do his thing. And by the way, what was Bruce Arians always wearing? He looked like Darth Vader out there. Looked like the guy had battery packs and oxygen tanks. I have no idea what was connected to him. If you know, call us and tell us, because I really don't. Larry, what's that number, man? Can you put that number
He had
up?
it up. He just took it down right now.
well-
Anyways, he looked like an alien, John. He's probably an alien. It's probably something Elon Musk gave him, because that dude is an alien.
I don't know what that thing was, but he had every single whistle and gadget. I think guys were running up to him, charging their phone off of his battery pack. So at the end of the day, he let Tom be Tom. That's why they won the championship. Let's not
John.
forget, Rich, there's 2 more quarterbacks, though, where these dominoes have to fall. One of those quarterbacks is Deshaun Watson. He still does not want to play for the Texans, and they still don't want to trade him. The other quarterback that's out there, I hate to even mention this, but it's Sam Darnold. That's a guy that is probably going to get shipped off someplace as well. So he's a smaller domino, but he is a domino. Once these things fall and the draft comes, everything's going to shake out. What do you think? Call us, 213-283-7798.
All right, here's my phone. Let me give you a call, John. I'm gonna tell
I
you
don't
what's-
want you to call me. If you want to talk sports, we haven't even got to the Lakers yet. 213-283-7798.
Before we shut the door on Tom Brady and all the talk, because nobody can shut up about the dude, and that's fine. It's the news. Today is his rookie card. Why he's wearing that big communications device on his chest. I don't know if that's a defibrillator or if that's a pacemaker or what, man. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah,
It's a really bad look, but I guess it works for him.
He is the oldest head coach to win a Super Bowl. He's 67 or 68, I believe. He became a head coach as an old timer. He didn't come up through the rank like Don Shula at 25, getting the helm of a team, coaching for 90 years, and then, or Bell. He didn't go through the ranks like that, I guess. But he finally got a head coaching job, and the dude was smart enough to put his ego aside and let everybody's favorite quarterback, Tom Brady, coach the team.
That's right. And look, Arians did a really good job with the Arizona Cardinals as well. He just didn't have a lot of pieces around him, but
Yeah.
he's a really good head coach. And look, I'm a big fan of seeing.
Anyways, John, like I was saying, now to further piss off all the anti-Brady fans out there, dude, his rookie card today went for $1.32 million, John.
Yeah.
His rookie card, $1.32 million.
Let me ask you, was it mint?
I don't know if it was
Did you know
mint.
if it was
It'd
mint?
have to be mint, John. We're back on, by the way.
Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah. Larry, we back on? Yeah, we're back up. It's just
Oh.
our monitors out because everything crashed. We're up. We're back up.
All right.
Anyways, $1.32 million is, there we are, $1.32 million for a Tom Brady rookie card. I got to believe it was mint. I got to believe there's got to be more cards out there. But if you have one, man, I don't know if I'd cough up 1.32. That's a little bit of scratch there, John.
Well, you may as well get it now because that price is only going to go up and up and up and up. I mean, look, if you've got a box of old football cards, old baseball cards, pull them out of your attic, pull them out of your storage, and start combing through there for a Tom Brady rookie card. It might make you very happy.
Yeah.
And look, we don't even know if that was a mint card. That might have had a bent corner. So you might have a mint card worth $2 million. I have no idea, but I wish I had a Tom Brady rookie card.
Does your kid have any rookie cards of Tom Brady?
Well, if you did, they're going to end up in my collection.
Yeah, Tom Brady's been twice as long as your kid's been alive, John. Think about it. So I doubt he has one.
Well, you know what's funny is that all the kids, especially here in Southern California, most of them are New England Patriot fans and Golden State Warrior fans. And it's funny because, we didn't have the Rams here and the Lakers were stinking. So all these kids gravitated towards the Patriots and the Golden State Warriors because that's who was winning.
Yeah.
Kids who hear Ice Cube song and still wonder who the Supersonics are.
We got Larry. We need to get you on the
There's
show, man.
people
You
on
need
there.
to
Larry needs to wire himself up. He threw some comedy at us, man. We didn't even pick
Larry
up on
was
that.
great. If you missed it earlier, Larry walked through the glass door in the studio, and that's twice. And today wasn't as bad as the first one. We actually left some blood stains on the window, but today Larry did hit the wall. We said he was going about 3 or 4 miles an hour tops, but still enough to shake the building.
Yeah, he was in a hurry. He had to hurry up, hit the can, man.
There he
you go.
is. There's
Larry.
producer Larry.
So Larry's head to the can and runs it to the glass wall. I loved it. But anyways, that's just a lot of bread. 1.32 million. I don't know who put up that kind of money. I'm sure it's a private deal. Nobody wants anybody to know they have that card because it may disappear on them or something. I don't know.
Just
But
don't
anyways.
use it as a toothpick because that's expensive. Now, Rich, didn't we do a show where we were talking? Who was auctioning off their jock strap that they went for like $2 million? Remember that?
Yeah,
Who was that?
yeah. That was it was Nolan Ryan.
Was it Nolan
Yeah,
Ryan's
I think it
jock
was
strap?
Nolan Ryan's jock strap went for like $25,000. Don't ask me why. We were.
And it wasn't even laundered. That was the best part. We're like, who is going to buy this thing?
Or was it? There was something that also was.
It was a boxer,
Joe
wasn't it?
Frazier.
Joe Frazier's
Joe
jock
Frazier's
strap.
jock strap.
It was Joe.
Some guy, because we did a show when we were back with the Angels, and we were talking about some of the weirdest things that have been auctioned off for charity in sports, and one of it was Joe Frazier's jock strap. And what happened was, after he won the championship, I think he fought Ali or somebody for it. I can't remember. It's been so long. But after that bout, that fight, the trainer kept all his stuff because he said, just throw it all out, whatever. So he kept it. So anyways, he has hand wrap, jock strap, auctioned all that stuff up and got some pretty good money. It was something else of Nolan Ryan's.
How do you prove that's his jock strap? I mean, couldn't we just throw a jock strap out there?
You know what, dude? I don't know. I'm sure there was a lot of DNA in that thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but are you actually going to? I mean, does it come with a certificate of authenticity that it has his DNA in there?
I don't know how that would happen. I don't think Frazier's alive to even back up this guy's story. But at the time, it sold, so that's all we need to tell you.
Yeah, it did. And that was, we were watching the auction live on the air, and we just could not believe
Couldn't believe it.
Could not believe the people that were actually bidding on a used jockstrap.
Yeah.
And this thing was really expensive.
So let's wrap up this Brady thing by saying that there's a lot of people still pissed that Kaepernick ain't getting a sniff anywhere, but Kaepernick doesn't want to play in the NFL. He's got way too much money now after the lawsuit. Got like 60 mil. Why would he play?
Listen,
Couldn't play anyway. He became vegan or vegetarian and lost all that weight. Couldn't play in the NFL, and that's why he's not playing.
if Colin
Period.
Kaepernick was a really good quarterback, he'd be in the NFL on a team, no matter what side of the coin he's on, no matter what it is. We've seen some bad dudes get on rosters. We've seen some, good people not get on rosters. There's all kinds of things. Bottom line, if you're a baller and you could play in the NFL, you're going to be on a team. And that's why Colin Kaepernick's not out there.
Yeah, that's true. And again, why would you change your diet and change your workout routine after you make the NFL and get to the Super Bowl? I don't understand why you would do that. I don't get it.
Well, he's probably dating someone that,
Whatever, dude.
changes diet habits.
Whatever.
But look, and keep in mind, he's a lot older than he was when he was on the field playing for the 49ers, running for 186 yards in the playoffs. Those days are long gone.
Yeah,
And,
you can't run anymore.
The one knock on Colin Kaepernick was he doesn't see the field properly. He's really only looking to one side of the field. This isn't me talking. These are analysts that talk and say this guy's only looking at half the field. So, he was a great college quarterback in that run and gun system in Nevada. And in the NFL, he's only going to be good for a few seasons. I don't see him even coming back as a backup. Let's not forget, he was talking about going to the Chargers last year.
He ain't going anywhere.
And I don't know
Couldn't
what
make
happened.
that Chargers.
Anthony Lynn said, we'd love to bring Colin Kaepernick in. Well, guess what? There's no Kaepernick, and Anthony Lynn's gone too. So that's that.
That's interesting.
He's making a lot of money on his social justice campaign, I believe.
Yeah, he's killing it right now. All right, let's talk about the NBA real quick here. We have the All-Star game coming up. But let's talk about the Lakers right now, John, because we are based in Southern California, and people generally do still follow the Lakers a little bit. LeBron's kind of messed all that up by all the political crap. We don't want to hear politics in our sports, everybody. Leave it out. You alienate your fans, LeBron. You killed the NBA single-handedly. And you want more money? You ain't going to get it. And the league should understand that, and the players should understand that. But anyways, John, the Lakers, of course, we talked last week about Anthony Davis being out. And they're in a big skid, my friends. They've dropped from the best team in the league down to number 3 right now, and they're still falling like a rock, John.
Well, again, it really doesn't matter where they finish in the standing. It's not like any team is going to have a home court advantage.
John, they fall 5 more places. They're out of the playoffs altogether, my friend.
There is no chance the Lakers are going to fall out of the playoffs. The Lakers are going to make the playoffs. And the good news is for the Lakers, they got Dennis Schroeder back. That's a guy that plays some really, really, really good basketball. He had 28 points last night. He had a great effort in their loss. And let's not count out Kyle Kuzma. That guy is doing so many things off the ball. He's getting a lot of rebounds. He's becoming almost a complete basketball player. So at the end of the day, these guys are going to be just fine. You've got Anthony Davis, if he comes back and he's 90% healthy, and you got LeBron James, nobody's going to beat them in a 7-game series. They just have to get in the playoffs, and we know they will.
John, I love your optimism, but you keep using that 2-letter word. You keep using it like it's okay. If. You know what the old saying about if my grandmother or my aunt this, it would be my aunt that. So you can't do that, John. It's what it is.
Well, let's assume that Anthony Davis is going to come back. They're on the All-Star break right now. No one's playing for a week. He'll probably rest for a few weeks after that, and they'll get him out on the court. So when Anthony Davis comes back, is that better, Rich? When Anthony Davis comes back, the Lakers are going to be just fine. If he's at 80 or 90%, they're going to be just fine. And look, nobody's going to beat them with Anthony Davis and LeBron James in a 7-game series.
People want to know about the Golden Knights, John. We ain't doing it right now. Sorry, man. We're stuck here in the NBA right now. You have to wait for your hockey stuff. But
what's going on with the Golden Knights?
I don't know, dude. It's hockey, dude. Nobody follows hockey.
Larry, can you tell us what's up with the Golden Knights? Thanks.
Vegas.
We know that.
That one fan out there that just can't get off their nights, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is, all right? So, all right, John, we'll see what happens. Anthony Davis, I keep telling you, man, this injury may last all season. He may not get back. That's just, something I'm just kind of looking at. I've seen these injuries before. And the way they haven't given you an exact timeline and automatically said after the All-Star break. First it was, he may return before the All-Star break. Now it's definitely after the All-Star break. And after the All-Star break, I guarantee you probably still won't be back.
What's the reason to rush him back? This is one of those nagging injuries. All they need to do is get into the playoffs. And look, with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, like I say, good luck beating those guys in 7 games. Anthony Davis.
It's weakness, John.
LeBron can't do it himself. He always needs a number 2 with him. And if he doesn't have Anthony Davis, they're going to struggle. Look what's happening now.
Anthony Davis should just man it out. He should just suck it up, Buttercup, because I'll tell you what. Listen, Jack Youngblood played in the Super Bowl with a broken leg.
Different era, man.
They put a cast on that dude. He manned out the pain. He didn't take any cortisone shots, nothing. The guy just went out there and sucked it up because he knew he was only going to have one chance to play in the Super Bowl. And he played pretty good. He was almost the MVP.
Hey, let's look at Terrell Owens. That guy played with a broken leg in a Super Bowl. So there's guys that are warriors that are going to go out there and just get it done. And then there's guys that are falling down with these non-contact injuries. Let's keep in mind, Anthony Davis is a very big man. So he's probably in a lot of pain. I believe he would be out there if he could, but he's putting all that weight on his knee. It's better for him to just stay off his knee, even if he's out another 4 or 5 weeks. What's the difference? We're only halfway through the basketball season.
Well, I'm just telling you. I mean, Otto Graham played after having appendectomy surgery.
Ronnie Lott cut his finger off to play.
Yeah, Ronnie Lott did cut his finger off to finish playing a game. I remember that. So there's
But they're not going to let that happen anymore, Rich. These guys are babied because of what they're worth. All these guys are just they're just dollars to these teams, and they need to protect their assets. So they're not going to run Anthony Davis out there in a chance of to re-injure him or make this thing go into next season because he's just worth too much money.
You're ripping off the fans, John.
Well, you are, but you also don't want to play. And there are no fans.
Hey, there's a few people watching it on TV still. Just a few. It's nothing like it used to be because, again, you want to bring politics in? You want to kneel for the national anthem? Okay.
Well,
you want to get rid of the national anthem, Mark Cuban? Okay.
Hey, look, there's a lot of people that look. That's a split topic, but the NBA's ratings did crash because of everything that happened. So
they lost 60%, 65% of what they used to have before, and it wasn't COVID, it's politics.
And I got to tell you, that's a shame too, because when they went to the bubble, I thought they did an outstanding job presenting basketball. I thought everything about it was fantastic because at the time, we had nothing. We were clamoring for live sports. I thought they did a great job in the bubble. And then, it got political and they alienated quite a few people.
They did, and continue to do so. You couldn't make it any worse than you have. Let's put it that way. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Will anybody beat Brooklyn, John?
Look, the Brooklyn Nets are shooting, I think, above 40% from the three-point line. That is just an astronomical number. So I mean, if those guys are hitting their threes, they're going to be tough to beat. But I do think the Lakers can beat them because the Lakers dominate at points in the paint. So I think those things offset each other, and I like my chances with LeBron James and Anthony Davis over the big three in Brooklyn.
It's almost like Golden State again is playing up in Brooklyn this time because let's face it, Golden State had three great three-point shooters. And now Brooklyn has three great three-point shooters, and the one common denominator is Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant's in there. You got Kyrie Irving and, of course, James Harden. They can all shoot the three. And, of course, in Golden State, you had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And, of course, you had Kevin Durant. So it's going to be interesting to see where this ends up. I don't know. This is a very, very stacked team in Brooklyn, John. And it's going to be very hard to beat those guys if they all stay injury-free and if they can still all get along rolling into the playoffs. So far, it looks like Harden's being a good team player, which is probably uncharted waters for him.
Well, it's still new in the relationship, Rich.
That's what I'm saying.
A little bit of time needs to pass, and these guys are going to figure out, who's the alpha dog, who's going to get the ball. So we have to see if they can all keep it together. Again, how can you beat a team that's shooting, 40-some-odd% from the three-point line? That's really difficult to do. The only way to do that is to counterbalance it with points in the paint. That's why I think the Lakers and the Nets would make a really, really, really great matchup. And let's face it, that's what everybody thinks it's going to be anyways.
John, it's very easy to stop good three-point shooters, and that's do with stuff like Bruce Bowen did. Number one, you knock them down. Number two, when they come down, stick your foot underneath them like Bowen used to do and twist their ankles up. Remember Bruce Bowen? He was the dirtiest friggin' player in the league.
He was, man. But
him and Bill Laimbeer.
I don't think you can do that stuff anymore.
Yeah, you can. You could do it. They'll throw you out of a game, but you could twist a few ankles, snap a few ankles. I mean, why not?
That'll
it's part of the game.
Right? Just lay down under someone before they land. You can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah, it's no big deal. We'll see what happens on that. Well, my money is probably going to be on Brooklyn just from the optics of it right now. The Lakers, I don't have a ton of confidence in, John. I just wonder if AD is going to be able to make it into the playoffs and through the rest of it.
Well,
finish
look,
it out.
if AD's healthy and he's back, which I think he will be, because the Lakers obviously want to make another run at this. If he's healthy and he's back, you still have to make sure the Lakers are hitting their three-point shots. They're shooting, I think, 20-some-odd% right now. So
the Lakers are looking really hot at getting Hassan Whiteside signed with them, and Whiteside's a nice rebounder. He can do some damage inside, kind of like Anthony Davis could, but he's no Anthony Davis.
Oh, look, the Lakers aren't really trying to replace Anthony Davis. They're just trying to put a Band-Aid over it. So
yeah, stop the bleeding.
Hassan Whiteside is a guy that can come in and do what he needs to do, but this team is not going to function properly until AD is back out on the floor. And again, these three-point shooters have to be very consistent. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he needs to step up his game. There's guys that really need to start connected on these threes. Alex Caruso, these guys need to become a constant. These guys need to be, hitting 30-40% of their shots, not 20% of their shots.
Should have never got rid of Lonzo Ball, John. All right, just kidding around with that one. Okay, we'll see where that ends up, John. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't know where this is going to end up in the NBA. I don't even know how Utah got so good. They don't have a huge superstar there, not really. And, they're just playing good team ball right now. They got the best record in the league, John.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're playing team basketball, but I think we've discussed that right here on this show.
Yeah, we
They're
have.
going to be a really good regular season team, but those guys aren't going to be able to hang in a 7-game series.
Now, John, we're in an odd part of the professional sports leagues right now because, the NBA is going into the All-Star break, which is odd. But we had Major League Baseball starting up, and now we're seeing the what they call the preseason of the Cactus League games like that. The Dodgers have been playing in Arizona. Haven't looked too impressive as of yet, but they don't have to. They're the world champions, and they have to look at the new guys too. Mookie Betts I think played in one game, and John he had a hit to hit the wall, and it was like he didn't even want the pitch. He swung a little late. He just let it go and swung with one hand and still made contact. So guys like him are always ready. They want to see what the youth can do. It's going to be interesting, again, for the Dodgers because moving Jock Peterson, Kiki, and the rest of the guys, those guys paid big dividends in the playoffs for the Dodgers.
And look, what the Dodgers are doing is textbook Dodgers. They have a really good farm system, and there's a lot of teams that don't. The Dodgers have a lot of homegrown talent, so they're going to use this time to play the homegrown guys. You already know what Mookie Betts is going to do. So the Dodgers have a good farm system. They're doing the right thing. What I do like about this preseason baseball or this Cactus League is I turn the games on, there's fans in the stands. So it's really cool to actually be able to see people go out and enjoy a baseball game. Looks like Arizona and Texas are going to be wide open for teams to fill the stands.
Well, I like what they did in Taiwan and like what they did in the Super Bowl and other places where they put up not only the stick figures, but they put up, those blow-up dolls. They put hats on them and beards on them and all that stuff. I thought that was so cool. It looked like the stadium was full, and they mixed in just enough people between all that stuff to make it look like it was a big crowd in the house.
Well, I didn't quite identify any blow-up dolls, as you would
Oh,
say.
I did.
But
I've seen a few.
But I'll tell you what, they did do a great job with it. And look, it still could not have felt the same for those players. I know they were playing at home in front of their home crowd, but you're playing in front of 10% of who should be there. I really feel that, when the crowd gets back into this, it changes the momentum of so many things. So I am really looking forward to live sports. I hope we're able to go to SoFi Stadium next season and actually see some live football because that was something that was severely missed this year by so many.
You really think we're going to – hold on. Oh, look who it is. Big Dan.
Hey, Coach.
How you guys doing?
All right. Hey, Coach, did they give you any word on that Florida job you were up for? The Gators?
I'm in the running, so there's a good chance for it. So I'm going to keep Western right now.
All right.
We'll see what happens in the next few days.
Everybody, this is Dan Davidson, head coach at Western High. And actually, we had him scheduled for a show earlier tonight with the high schools. But Dan's as interesting as a guy you will ever meet. You see this guy every week on his Instagram. He's always all over the country with his family and checking out his athletes, the guys he's coached throughout the years that have made it to Division I football, pro football. And Dan, you live the dream every day.
Dan doesn't even need an introduction, Rich.
No, he doesn't.
Should I leave now? You got Dan. I mean, what do you need me for? We got Dan Davidson.
I don't know. I think Larry lost him. Larry, we got Dan. Oh, there he is.
There
Dan, you're living the dream every day.
Every day. Hey, I'm just really excited. I'm sorry so much. I really told Larry that I was apologized that I didn't get to you.
It's all right.
When I put on an email, I start practice. I realize practice does start at 3 o'clock, but I go in about 12 o'clock. I like to write up the practice plan, get the field ready, and do those type of things. And I didn't see the message, and so I'm sorry that I missed a great opportunity to try to promote you and what you guys do in high school football. But I'm a week away of going and playing a scrimmage game against Esperanza, and I'm just really excited for my, especially seniors, my players to have a chance to participate this year.
Yeah, and that's always good. And we talked about that earlier today, how, you know what, we don't even care about there's not going to be a postseason. It's just great that the kids are going to get to finish out. Those of us that played athletics, high school sports, college sports, after all the work you put in, man, and then not being able to have a season. And I'm not just talking about this particular season. I'm talking about all the work you did to get to your senior year. And that's when you're supposed to be at your optimum, your best, and you don't get to play.
Rich, that's well said by you, because it's 4 years of lifting weights year-round, running, conditioning, passing leagues, passing tournaments, all the things that you do. You give up summer vacations. There's so many things that you do to give up inside of 4 years. So it's a lot more than just the season. And you're right, for us, our season, we get to have a bell game. We get to play the Anaheim, and what a rival that is for us, and we're super excited to play in a game like that. So every game in league is a playoff game for us. For us to have an opportunity, I'm sure you're aware, Rich, but many of your listeners probably aren't. We went back to the Orange League, and so we're super excited about that because those are the schools in our neighborhood. We
Yeah.
get to go back and play Magnolia. We get to play Savannah. We get to play Anaheim, and that is the schools that are right around us, and that's who the kids have played Pop Warner football with, and who they hang out with and talk. And for us to be able to get back in with our own community inside of it, it's a really special time for us, not only for football, Rich, but for all the sports at Western High School and being back in the Orange League. We're really excited.
Well, there's some good schools in that league. Magnolia, in particular, in recent history, has been doing pretty darn well. Anaheim High School is just old and big. There's always athletes over there, and that school was built like in 1699, John, one of the first high schools in America. That's how old that place is.
A lot. I mean, they're probably the league favorites, and they have a lot of talent coming back. They've had a great run of things, and they did lose the league title to Catella last year, but Catella's not there, and they're returning everything, and we're just going to hope to come in there and compete with them, give the best we can. Anaheim likes their running back. They have all their linemen back. So I'm not saying we're going into a league that's going to favor us. We're going into a league that's going to be really tough on us, but at least we're going into a league that, like I said, is amongst our kids who they know and their friends and stuff. And so that's why I'm looking forward to it so much.
Now, go ahead, John.
Hey,
Sorry.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, so, because there is no championship, you kind of summed it up. Look, every game is almost like a championship game. Do you think the players are a little bit more relaxed because you're not playing for the overall champ, is every game like a championship? Like, how is the attitude a little bit different this year than if you were playing for a championship?
Well, you haven't been to any of my practices because if you went to my practice, there is no a little more relaxed. There's something mentally wrong with me. That's why I'm on Rich's show. The reason why Rich and I get along so well is because we both have issues.
I know he does. There's no doubt about that.
And I'm pushing them like we're playing for a CIF championship. And the reason why is we don't. And I know Rich just knows, and John, as I get to know you a little bit more, I know Rich already knows this. I don't coach football for football. I coach to teach young men to be great young men. That's what I do. I want them to be successful in all walks of their life. And I use football as a crutch to try to do those things, to try to help them learn to be successful. So every practice for me is an opportunity for them to learn something about that. And so I treat every practice and every opportunity about a chance of growth. And I challenge them every day. And if I had some players in here with me right now, they would tell you that I challenge them an unbelievable amount every single day about getting better. If it's a wide receiver, I'm seeing if he can run his route better, he can get his get off better, can he catch better, can he tuck it better, and whatever the case may be, I'm challenging our guys on a daily basis. Because look, when you come to Western High School, our freshman team has 2 guys on it that's ever played football before, and so we haven't ever done that before. They haven't played football, so I have to take over these guys and mold them into football guys, and I do that with a lot of energy and encouragement and push them to another level.
And Dan, he's not kidding around. When he got to Western, I mean, let's
Turn
face
that
it.
program around.
Well, he's done very well. Let's put it this way. He went to a state contender. Dan, what was the name of that quarterback you had that led the nation in passing a couple years ago?
Anthony Munoz.
Anthony Munoz. See, I should have known
Remember
that
that name?
I think of the tackle, from USC. Anthony Munoz. This guy threw for over 5,000 yards in a season, led the nation in passing. So that tells you, what kind of coaching that Davidson does over at Western High School. And,
Kane Savage is over at Utah and playing. You got Cassius Savage at San Diego State. We got young man MJ playing in Arizona Christian. And so what we did is we established a whole bunch of those guys with attitude. Like I said, Anthony came in. It's funny. His dad coached him. Julio Munoz does a great job in Pop Warner and stuff. But they ran the wing tee. So he had never done anything. He was a quarterback in a wing tee. And he comes over to Western, and we're spreading it and throwing around 50 times a game. And so I think he averaged 2 or 3 throws through Pop Warner per year, and we did that per possession.
Well, I was going to tell people out that don't know what a wing tee is. Basically, you're running the ball. There was a guy named Markham that Dan Markham, I believe, used to run the wing tee out of Bloomington, and he set national scoring records running this offense. He had 4 plays. That was it. And 2 were passing and 2 were running. It was either Cheyenne Caldrell or Greg Oliver, left and right. And those guys just ran left and ran right. One was a big old horse, looked like Colin Bryant, and the other guy looked like Walter Payton. And they would just hand off left, right, and they would just run the field. And the wing tee, again, you're hiding the ball. You don't really know who's getting it in the backfield. It's all misdirection. So your linebackers got to be really good at ferreting that stuff out and see who's getting the ball, because the linemen can't see it. The linemen can't see who's getting the ball. They're just hoping they can get in somebody's way and slow it down. And to have a national – they scored over 700 points, Coach, almost 800 points in one season running that.
Unbelievable. And having to do those reads. And that's what I took over when Coach Howe – the Howe family at Western High School, 35 years of coaching between Jim and Toby, and they ran the wing. And so when I got there, the best way to say is the athletes changed, and we were no longer going to have those big Samoan linemen coming up there and knocking some people around. We didn't really have that. And so I think you had to make a change of what we did. And so we ended up going into a spread zone read team with a lot of RPOs. And the first couple of years were tough. And, when you're changing from doing a style that you just described, Rich, to a style that's going to throw the ball around, you got to have guys learn how to catch the ball, run routes, get ready and stuff. And Mike Enright, a good friend of mine, he was the first guy I took the guys over to. We did the old 10 plays offense, defense, ended up with 40 plays. I'll never forget it. We had 1 completion in 40 plays. Coach Enright never mixed words. And he's like, "Hey, Coach, you guys suck."
So I love that.
Yeah, so I told him, "Thank you. I didn't notice that, but that 5-yard completion, how great was that? Because that little slant we caught was pretty special." And then 4 years later, we led the nation in yards and touchdowns, and now they're California records up to last year with touchdowns and completions and yardage. And that it was a dream of us wanting to do it. And we continue on. And if you play quarterback and you want to throw for 4,000 to 5,000 yards, I'll tell you a high school to go to.
Western, that's the one. And you know what? There's some big old names on that list of all-time greats in California. And, man, to have somebody from Western High, Anthony Munoz, at the time at the top of that list in a lot of the categories, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
There's a lot of schools that throw that ball.
Yeah, we're bringing that tradition back. Mikey Iupati just retired from the Seattle Seahawks. We retired his number when I got there a couple years in. I know a lot of people know some of the other. Dana Nossinger played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 6 years. We've had some guys. Fili Meola, we retired his jerseys with the Colts for 8 years. So there's been some guys that went through Western and got to the NFL. I believe we have 6 guys right now that's played in the NFL for it. And one of the guys that didn't play in the NFL was just an absolute all-timer. So sometimes it's not always just about getting there to playing in the NFL, but the tradition of Western High School is something that I go into every single day. I'm fighting to try to uphold that name. And following the Howe family and 35 years of Coach Howe and what they did, and really not only Toby did it for 18 years, Jim did it for 17, but Jim was the AD, and he brought so many good things into the Anaheim Union High School District. And so I have that pressure to try to uphold what they built. And that's why it was so important when we did win the CIF to have Toby come up with us. That trophy was as much for them as it was for me. It was for our Western Pioneers, our guys that, did the path forward. It's just like pioneers, man. That's what we are. So I love what I do. And you couldn't be more right, Rich, when you say living the dream. Every single day I wake up, I'm literally living the dream that I get to go in and impact a lot of the young people and hopefully make an impact moving forward.
Yeah, interesting that you say that. I'll tell you something about playing football and high school athletics for boys and girls is, you really get to understand that you have limits greater than you ever thought. And what I mean by that is when I say your limits, when you think you're like, I don't think I can run a 10-minute mile, well, you end up running a 5.5, 6-minute mile. Never thought you can do that, and wrestling too. I can name a bunch of sports that I played that I never thought I would get through a practice on some of these things. especially wrestling. It's one of the hardest sports you can possibly do. But again, football too, it teaches you your limits, man. Something about it. You find that aggressiveness, you find that stick-to-itiveness, you find that ability to have great teamwork with your athletes, and you have lifelong friendships out of it. So this is really a big deal for a lot of people at this level. Big deal.
I agree, and you said that some of our big 300-pounders, we got to run an 8-minute mile to be able to practice. So we don't let you practice unless you knock that 8-minute mile out. Yep. And some of our 300-pounders, that takes a little bit. And the reason why that we do that is that you can't be in the physical fitness shape that it takes to play football and as fast as we're trying to go. Every year since I've been there, we're trying to go faster and faster, and that's what we are hoping to create. And so, people come out a couple hours early, and they got to try to knock out their mile to hope to get to practice. If not, they're the water boy that day.
Yeah,
and
we had
to do it that.
My high school coach, Jack Malstead, had this thing after practice that we did have to run that mile, like you said. It had to be under a certain time. Yep. And we had this guy named Steve Folsom, who played tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. It was on our team. And if the last guy didn't make it in within 7 or 8 minutes, we all had to run another one. Like it or not, we all had to run. So Steve would run that mile in about 2 minutes because he was 6'7" and can run like a gazelle. And he would lap everybody and go get the last guy and drag him by the back of his shirt, so he made sure we got in under the standard, because nobody wanted to run another mile. And Steve could do it. He could that, and that was kind of like leadership, because other guys would try to help out. They would cut across the field and drag the last guy through. Sometimes they would carry him. It was always the same guy, and I don't want to say his name to embarrass him, but it was always the same guy we had to carry across the finish line. It was, and
Rick can say it's Dan Davidson.
It was actually Conti. I went with John. We had to carry him across the finish line, but it's good to see those kind of traditions are still alive, Coach. So,
and by the way, Coach, I didn't mean do you relax in practice. I meant, did you notice like the attitude of the players? Is it a little bit different because there's no chance? I think you answered that question, but I already know you don't relax. Rich already made that loud and clear.
Yeah, he doesn't.
John, I'll tell you 100%, and we're really fighting that, and it's complacency, right? Like, there is nothing that, hey, we're not have playoffs and something. That's something that we are going. We are no longer trying to play a regular season. For us to have a successful season is to go to the playoffs. And we go to and so the relax has done that, and we really tried to get that out of the boys these last couple of weeks, because you said it great, that they are a little relaxed and they don't feel the urgency, and they don't understand. We normally have 8 months to get prepared for our games, and all of a sudden we have 3 weeks. And so we weren't like a lot of the schools that were already out running and conditioning and doing weights, and even some of them, on the field. We were doing nothing. We were not allowed to be on campus. So we just about 3.5 weeks ago got on campus. So you talk about they're coming in and they're happy and go lucky, a little more relaxed, John, like you're saying, or hey, this is cool, this is fun. But in order to be successful, it's got to be a lot more than cool and fun. And we had to make sure that we were pushing ourselves to the limits, and we were not. And so then when you have the Unity Council meeting and you talk to them and you bring them in and you do a little heart-to-heart, one of the great things that I brought up to them was, what's the difference of water at 211 degrees compared to 212 degrees? At 1 degree, nothing's going on. The water's just a little hot, a little warm. But 212 degrees, everything starts happening. Water starts boiling, gases start happening, can run an engine. And are you willing to go to 211 degrees, or do you want to go to 212 degrees? And that 1 degree represents everything that it is. And again, us crazy coaches, we're always trying to use something to try to motivate them. I text my kids every day, and I give them some type of motivational thing every single day. I like to start my morning or end the night that way, in order for them to realize that we're in a fight and we're trying to get better. Because ultimately, I'm hoping that helps them when they have a job one day, when they're a father one day. We don't get days off as parents. So when we could have a bad day, we don't feel very good, but one of our kids are sick, we got to step back up and make sure we're there for them. And so I try to install that into my players.
Hey, Dan, would you be my life coach, man? I mean, this is pretty emotional, man. Like, I'm really I need a life coach like you. Hey, call the show if you want to. Talk to Dan Davidson, 213-283-7798.
John,
He's going to be my life coach, Rich.
we got 3 minutes left in this show, my friend.
Well,
So,
we can squeeze a call in.
it
if we
is
want.
what it is. But
We can sum up life in 3 minutes. That's no problem.
hey, Dan, did you hear about Tom Brady's rookie card? The price it went for today?
I did not see it.
What do you think? What do you think his rookie card sold for?
Remember, Rich, I blew you off. I haven't done anything with anyone since
Yeah, you
12.
did. But what do you think it went for? Take a guess.
Rich bought it, just so you know.
I bought it, but what do you think it went for?
$1 million.
God, you're close.
Close, 1.32 million.
Well, pretty amazing.
With the bent corner, we
Yeah,
think.
with a bent corner. It wasn't even mint.
That's amazing. That's about what you're worth, Rich. That's why John and I stay on your your coattails.
Thank you
We're just
very much.
We're hoping that you leave us a little bit of money.
It's a great
And,
investment. It's a great investment.
That's all we can do.
We don't want him to leave us money. We want it now, man.
want
We
the-
don't want to wait. He should let us. He should watch us and spend it and enjoy it, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
look,
That's
out
true.
of this show tonight, I got a loan from Rich and I got a life coach out of Coach Davidson. What a great show for me tonight. This was fun.
John's
Well,
always maxing out the guests, John.
See, Rich, that's why I feel so bad, though, being completely honest, that, I missed the opportunity to be with you guys, is because what you're doing is another avenue to keep people to have hope.
Absolutely.
And the more that we do with these high school kids and have them involved, and you guys doing the show like we talked about last time, running it for like 30 years, is, man, when we get done and we get home, we used to go on and try to watch those shows, because that's how we found out who won, right? Like
Right.
how they got it. It wasn't OC Varsity updating all the scores. We had to come on our show to try to see who won, trying to find out who won the modern day Bosco game. And so that's why what you guys are doing right now is so inspirational to me. And that's why I told you, I'm here anytime you need me, because you guys are keeping high school sports alive. And the more things that we have on this is the more opportunities that we have to make high school sports important, which keeps the brand going. And what that brand is keeping kids involved. Because if you want to have successful kids doing a lot better and doing all those things, I wonder if all these grades all of a sudden are coming out. They have less time to do schoolwork, and now all of a sudden they have a little more motivation. I wonder if the grades are coming up, their mental health. We could go down the lines all the way through, and it's things like you guys doing this is really makes it possible.
You heard it from my life coach right there.
Heard it from the boss man, the Hefe right now. Well, Dan, listen, man, we really appreciate that. We appreciate you coming on today. We're happy to be back at it and follow what's going on and promote some of these kids, because we always see them at the next level. I was telling John, remember a high school game I called? It was Linwood and in Long Beach Poly playing in a championship game for the state playoffs, and I just remember Willie McGinnis was on that team, Tyus Edney was on that team, Chuck Levy was on that team. There was like 5 guys that went pro in football, baseball, and basketball playing that night, and now all these guys have gone through their pro careers and they're all retired, and we're going to probably drag them all in here at some point, John, and talk to them about it. But just seeing the full circle, these athletes come full circle is very gratifying. I'm sure it's even more gratifying for you being their mentor, being their coach, seeing them go to Division I level, Division II level, Division III level, and the professional level. So there's just nothing like it. So hats off to what you do. I know it's tough, and congratulations for staying the course, because there's a lot of nutty dudes out there, beginning with Conti, who also coaches football, and I have to talk him off the ledge.
I run the wing tee in my flag football league, by the way. It's all about misdirection.
There you
I don't know
go.
what the hell he's doing.
Hey, got to keep it alive.
That's right.
right.
We got to keep it alive for sure.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Remember, we're going to be here for Thursday. Larry, how long are we going to be doing Thursdays for what? 5 weeks, possibly?
Until the end of April.
Yeah, to the end of April. We'll be here on Thursday nights instead of Fridays.
over.
Then we will come back on Fridays and start with the craziness, right? The zaniness, because on Fridays, everybody's wild. John, Friday's like a full moon for everybody.
Friday's a little bit more
Full
wild.
moon.
Friday's a little more wild. Tonight's Thursday, a little mellow. But thanks, Coach, for joining us.
Yeah, we changed nights. Yeah, thanks again,
I
Dan.
appreciate it.
We're taking off. All right, on behalf of John Conti, I'm Rich Estrella, and of course, Coach Davidson, saying so long from your friends here at the Sports Corner. Join us again at 8 o'clock next Thursday evening.
From the Lighthouse Studios.
That's it. That's where we are. All right, everybody. Good night. See you next week. Appreciate it. Thanks again, Dan.
Appreciate you guys.